This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action, and you're listening to the Krypton Report.
Hi, this is David Patrick Wilson. I played Superman, Clark Kent, in the television production of It's a Bird, It's a Plane, enjoying every minute of being right here on the Krypton Report.
Look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane.
The Year of Superman. Welcome to the Krypton Report podcast. I'm your host, Tyler, the Superman of tomorrow. With me is James, the Man of Steel, the Superman of Red. What's up, buddy?
What's up? How's it going?
It's going okay. If you can't tell, both James and I have been battling some sickness. The weather in Ohio sucks.
Part of my job is weather control because we're an assisted living and skilled nursing facility, and there's like regulations are like zero tolerance on that type of stuff in case, you know, something happens and you got to get people out. Like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, so when it comes through, we're busy.
Let's kick off our news conversation here. First of all, I just had a birthday, and there is my birthday cake. So thank my beautiful, glorious wife, Jania, for the wonderful birthday surprise that she threw me. Very much Daily Planet Superman themed. It was amazing.
The man, the myth, the legend.
The cake was delicious. I had they made me a cake at work too. That was Superman, and I put that picture up on our socials for people to check out. So I appreciate all that. We'll jump into our news here. First thing I got here is this is a back-to-back. It says, a Flash video game was in the works at Warner Brothers Games Montreal, but was reportedly scrapped due to poor reception of DC's Flash film.
Jeez.
And then, the Wonder Woman game has been rebooted during development and has already cost more than $100 million. The game is still years away from release if it ever makes it to market. Okay, so I'm going to throw this out. Solomon with his Solomon with his Christmas and birthday money bought a PS5. We were smart. We found a used one at GameStop, and I waited till it was Pros Week or whatever. So I got additional points off, and we got it relatively for a good price. Okay, it was pretty good. I say all this
PS5 prices.
it was under 400. It was like 370.
Yeah, not too bad.
That's what he wanted, and we bought recently. We traded some old games in. We bought Mortal Kombat 1. Okay, and we just beat that. Me and the kids did. The kids enjoy playing story mode and everything. And I say all that because I think, and I've played Injustice, and Solomon's played it with me too, and not have to be a fighting game, but something along the lines of where you're doing a cinematic story, like in the Mortal Kombat game, and then you do missions as different members of the Justice League, I think would be a really good game. Because it seems like they're having these issues. Like we've talked about, we won a Superman game. There's had issues with getting, Wonder Woman and Flash game off the grounds. The Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. I'm going to try to play that just to see what it's like, but it was a flop because why are you killing the Justice League? Like, I thought that.
Yeah. Well, I also heard something about that game actually ran out of money, and they freaking made the ending like a 2D old school animation like you get off of freaking Mortal Kombat or something from old school when you beat it, and it gives you a small and flat picture animation and gives you some narrative about what happened. Like that's ridiculous.
And I mean that game was remember when that was first advertised and we were like, oh, and then like it came out years later.
Right. Well, you got the power. You got these next gen systems that are extremely powerful, and they can run amazing games and things like that. And they take a lot of time to develop. Games have always taken a very long time to develop. And you the more powerful the system is, the more they're able to run. So they're trying to make all this different stuff when it comes to the layering of the games, the coding. I mean, all that stuff, and it's just they're making them longer and longer to produce, and then expensive, $100 million. I mean, that's going to take a lot of sales for a game to sell. Even though games are $60-$70 a piece, brand new.
That's why they take the game,
and then they chop it up into multiple pieces,
and make downloadable content, extra levels, and then like with the Mortal Kombat is they make a almost complete second game that then you then pay as the expanded story. That's really like a 3/4 or half the length of the first game.
Yeah. Honestly, if you wanna play with multiple characters in a game and not be so limited, you have to pick up a Lego game or something. You know what I mean?
It's just like I feel like, I started playing Gotham Knights, and I'll report back when I get through it. But it's like that game didn't do what they had hoped, and I feel like all that they're like, oh, we just got to go back to the Arkham well. And my thought is, if you just made a really good Justice League game and gave them the characters that people actually want to be. So I don't get a full Superman game, but I get a game where I can be Superman, or I can be the Flash or Wonder Woman. That might just be what we need.
Yeah. There was this game, I think it was called Justice League Heroes, and I had it probably back on my Xbox. And that was probably the last game that was something. It was akin to kind of like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which I freaking adored. And Justice League Heroes was kind of like that, but not as not as open choice to be able to pick the characters for the levels, and it didn't have quite the roster. But it was something similar to that, where you got to pick a couple of members of the league for different missions and play, but yeah, it's crazy just the idea that I know how long games take to develop, multiple years to put out. And then, but yeah, we don't have anything. We haven't had anything good since Arkham Knight came out.
And even then, Arkham Knight had problems because everyone hated that it was Jason Todd.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I'm sure we'll be talking later about it and stuff too on another topic as well. But the liberties of changing stories, making them fit into a different universe, or I mean, that was probably not the best choice, but it did tie that storyline in. But yeah, these days, I mean, nobody's ever happy with the story that somebody tells when it's an adaptation. Like, it's almost people only want one for ones anymore. And then when they do come out, especially with games, there's going to be glitches and there's going to be bugs and things like that, especially with these expansive games with the downloadable content, especially when they cut them apart. And when there's any kind of glitch or bugs, I mean, people just like tear it down like it's the worst thing ever. Like creating a video game is a perfect scenario, is a perfect storm,
I agree. So that's kind of just the game thing. Okay, let's keep it rolling here.
I
What
wish
else
we
we
had
got?
more games. I wish we had more DC games, you know? I mean, yeah, DC Universe and Injustice are your, like,
Hmm.
you know, and then your Arkham series. That's all you got.
So, if you're a smelly person and you need to take a bath, check out this Old Spice line, the hero line. We have Superman. We have 3 different kinds of Superman deodorants, a spray, an aluminum free, a standard deodorant, and then a body wash and a shampoo from Old Spice. So this is new.
Smell like a hero.
And currently I have the body wash and the deodorant. Still on the search for the shampoo. And I'm not going to bust them out. I just found them, went ahead and bought them. And I will, what do you call it? Once I use up what I have, I'll dig into them. But I found them, and I put Sayla said they smell good. She is the super smeller, is what we call her. So she said.
Oh yeah, does she decide the sense of the house?
Yeah, she
or help
has
decide the sense of the house.
She has a strong sense of smell. All right, let's see what else I found on the internet this past week or past time. This is cool. The U.S. Mint will be producing a Superman coin, a silver Superman coin this year. You can go on to their website and click to be updated when the official coin goes for sale. But
does that say $50?
Probably it's going to be pure silver from the U.S. Mint. So
yeah,
probably
it looks like what it says on the one printed side. It looks like it says a $50 silver piece.
So we'll see who gets that. Let's see. Oh, okay. So jumping into some comics news. Okay, I thought this is funny, but at the same time, something we've talked about before. Super Son, not to confuse with James Gunn's Superman. Jonathan Kent to be known as Super Son rather than Superman, so as not to add confusion.
Okay, because it hasn't been confusing with his multiple series with him titled Superman.
Right, like we've been saying this for a while. Like, okay, we had talked about leaving John as Superboy and giving Connor the moniker of Red Sun, kind of like a Nightwing thing, stepping up. But Super Son, okay, whatever. But I have not liked John Kent being Superman. He's the character they don't know what to do with the most.
Yeah, the only reason that Superboy would only further continue to fit with Connor is the fact that he doesn't age. He still looks like 16. Mm-hmm. He doesn't age, so he looks like a Superboy, whereas John Kent is now older. He is now 18 and above.
Yeah, but it is what it is,
But yeah, Super Son. I mean, yeah, it would have been cool along the lines of Nightwing for him to, like you said, get his own kind of moniker. Besides Supergirl, Superboy was the first like legacy Superman character that was a younger version coming up that was Kryptonian in nature and like the first legacy character, and he's still going by Superboy. He hasn't gotten a chance to get his own surpass and rise above and get his own moniker, like you said, like a Red Sun, kind of separating himself as the more experienced of everybody else among them, besides like Superman and Supergirl.
Yep. But it is what it is, my friends. Okay. Next. Did you watch the Super Bowl Green Lantern internet where it was with Guy Gardner, the only bowl that I need.
Well, it was only a small clip, right? I didn't see anything
Yeah,
extended.
that was it.
Okay, yeah, it was just literally like him just like smiling and giving some, shit-eating grins towards the camera and saying the only bowl you need is Guy Gardner's bowl cut.
And I was like, all right. So, and I've been picking on Solomon because his hair, when he doesn't fix it, looks like Guy Gardner, and he hates it.
Oh, nice.
So we got some crypto images.
The thing that sells me with him being Guy Gardner is it being Nathan Fillion.
Yes. We got some crypto images that was released. We got this poster and this poster, which is all kind of basically the same image, just tweaked for crypto. We got our first look at one of the crypto toys that'll be coming. I like the packaging. It's a flying crypto. And it gave us an interesting, good look at David's Superman there. So I like all this stuff I'm seeing here. I'd like to see some other toys get, teased and released soon. I'm keeping my eyes out at the store. We got this official DC Studio Superman artwork. Little banner here.
Not bad. The artwork, the head looks a little too small for the body.
But we got this Dan Mora, David Cornsweet styled Superman suit recovering of Action Comics #1. It's amazing.
Action Comics homage. Yeah, that looks fantastic. That one looks really great.
So
Dan
James,
Moore is so good.
Oh, I know. So good. Let me ask you a question. Do you prefer Crypto to be from Krypton or an Earth dog that was experimented on and given powers?
Man, I mean, that's tough depending, the way that it goes. I mean, because if he's crypto, I like it to be more, if he's Kryptonian, I like it to be more like alien houndish, like almost big wild dog that's a little alien, but also how does a Kryptonian dog get to Earth?
Well, our poll said this. How do we like our crypto?
That's
82% people said from Krypton. 18 said experimented on.
There you go. I mean, I'm in the 82%. Pretty sure I'm pretty sure I voted in there. The 18.
I'm kind of torn. So
well, it's kind of like the Trunks question, with or without. Like we're both. You know what I mean? As long as it's a good, as long as it's good for the story, we're both.
Yeah. The last little news tidbit I have here is: did you see the NBA video with Shaquille O'Neal and looking at the new costume, and David Cornsweet steps in and James Gunn? Have you seen that clip?
I have seen part of it. I have not watched the clip. I kind of saw it and I watched what was happening, but
it was hilarious. He's like, Shaq's like, suit's too small. And he's going on, and there's and James Gunn's like, Shaq, meet Superman. And there's David, and he does the pose just like the poster behind him. And Shaq's like, should have called me, James. Should have called me. He goes walking off. It's great. Look it up on YouTube. It's nice.
I actually am. So I know you had sent the link before.
So it's great to see. As you listen to this audience, everyone, happy anniversary to James. On February 16th marked the anniversary of his first appearance on the show. To celebrate that, James and I recorded our commentary for Superman versus the Elite. It's free on our Patreon. That was the first thing that James and I had ever discussed together on the podcast.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. It was really exciting to talk. It was really exciting to talk Superman in the Elite again. Like you said, it's the first episode that I was on with you, and you know, I love that movie. It's a really good film. It's a really good story, and yeah, it was awesome to have it was awesome to go back and talk about that.
So check that out.
Or
all right,
with it in a commentary.
Now is the time for some Superboy. We're diving back into Superboy this week. We kind of flipped our episodes because next week's episode is going to be kind of special, and we need a little bit more time to prep for that. But our first episode today is season 1, episode 18, Terror from the Blue. After witnessing a police officer being gunned down by a corrupt colleague, Lana is targeted by the crooked cops. All right, so I have to say the irony to this episode was that I'm watching this, and like I said, the kids and I have been playing Mortal Kombat, and the guy who's the corrupt cop was the guy that played Shang Tsung in the Mortal Kombat movie from 1995.
I was like, you saw him in it in 1995, or you saw him in that, and I was like, oh yeah, you know he's a bad guy.
Oh yeah,
Shang Tsung.
Great actor. Like,
yep.
But
I was really happy to see Shang Tsung in this episode. So I'm sorry I don't know the actor's name offhand.
I don't want to mispronounce it. Like, I know it, but it's like I don't want to butcher it. So I want to respect him.
But yeah, it was awesome to see him in this episode. It kind of drew me in really early on in this episode.
It was a very serious episode. I mean, you know, we have this 2 police officers in the back. Lana's there to interview one. Dude gets shot multiple times. You know, his character name was Detective Jed Slade. I'm like, all right, cool.
I don't think so.
But I'm just like, it was you know, we have Lana, we have the scene of Lana in the phone booth calling the police, and she calls the one, you know, officer that the one that got shot told her to talk to, and she doesn't say, hey, don't tell nobody or anything like that. And then moments later, you know, there's a drive-by, and there's a homeless lady that's in the phone booth. I mean, the dude's got a Uzi out the window just shooting up, just like, I was like, dang, this is like some dark stuff in this episode. Corrupt cops that are like using racketeering and prostitution. I'm like,
yep,
wow,
and definitely and murder, like killing everybody. They were going to kill the man who helped her. Like,
yeah, she retreated. I feel like I missed something because all of a sudden she's like at this dude's trailer, and I'm like, what's going on? And yeah, they were gonna kill him, and very little Superboy in the episode, but it was nice to feel. I don't know. I felt like there were stakes in this episode, and it felt more real and serious. How do you think?
Well, yeah, there were absolutely stakes in the episode. Well, I say there's stakes in the episode. The guy took three slugs to the back, 2 through the chest and 1 through the belly, and
lived
up. Yeah, he's alive and up in the hospital.
TJ's bringing him a hot dog. He did not have a vest on. Okay.
Yeah, they were coming after Lana. They were gonna kill her. They were drive-by shooting. You know, the crooked cops. It was very serious. They even had a serious-ish personal storyline with Clark and Lana, which I don't believe they showed anything about in the beginning, but Clark mentions that he wasn't able to make something with Lana in the morning, and like she's getting tired of being stood up by him, and that he's not the person like she thought he was or whatever. And then later on, he asks if he could join her eventually, and she's playing coy with him, but she still wants him to be around. You know, she still has a crush on him and everything. And just kind of play into their relationship in that little what is that, a C plot of the story.
Mm-hmm.
But no, like I said, the actor Shang Tsung drew me in, and then it was a serious episode. So it was a good watch, you know, for the show.
All right. The next episode, War of the Species, a little misleading here. TJ discovers a government-created robot that killed someone. Superboy managed to save him. When a government official tells them that everything is classified, they leave. Later, the man confronts the creator, who seems to have other plans. He later grabs TJ, setting a trap for Superboy. Can we first talk about TJ's ridiculous hair?
Right. And he wore something akin to like a pastor's shirt with a pastor's collar.
Well, the collar was one of those tie things that's like you see like at a rodeo.
Oh, like a bolo tie? I guess I didn't get a good enough look at it. I just saw that piece right here up on the collar because it was like black on black, you know?
And I noticed, and I'm just like, okay. But I think the big part is they're going to this, TJ's up for this award for like best student journalism. And he, you know, he's all talking, and it's like, you know, oh, it's not in the bag. And he's all boasting in the car and everything on the drive. And then Lana pulls him aside, like, you didn't win. I know someone who's on the committee. You didn't win. And he's like, oh, okay. Who did? She's like, Clark. He's like, oh. So
I didn't even catch that really. All I caught was him not being able to take a picture of the action twice.
Yeah. And then he wonders why he sucks as a photographer.
Right.
He dropped this film. James film.
Yeah. I know film. I used to. I'm almost as old as you. I'm gonna be the same age later this year.
What are you trying to say, James? Sorry.
You're older than me, old man.
Oh, dang it, I know.
By like
it's
5 months.
But it's just crazy because it's, you know, it's a film, and he drops the canister, and the robot. Okay, so the robot in this is one of those like horrible 80s looking cyborgs. It looks like, dude, I don't even know how to reject. It looks like some dude in hockey pads with like he's going to WrestleMania from the 80s. Like he's one of the what were they called with the spikes on and everything?
Yeah, like they were like the Animal Brothers. I forget what they were called.
Something like that. And it's
like shoulder pads with spikes on and face paint.
He reminds me almost of Bane from Batman and Robin. And it's like a dude, like he's supposed to be a robot, and it's a dude, and he's like his eyes and face is all exposed, and
his tubing was just like little plastic ribbed corrugated tubing that they spray painted black that went around. Like it was so cheap.
And then the big twist is at the end, the scientist that was creating the robot is a robot themselves. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know if that really pans out. It makes complete sense.
Yeah, he says he's from another world. I don't know if he's talking about like another Earth, because he talks about humans. He says humans, and he says he's from another world. So it's like he's from an alternate Earth where it's like humans versus androids, or like androids have risen up to in revolution against humans, but how can they revolt if they can't kill? So he's trying to develop an android that can kill people, and this one is the first. So it was a weird twist. I just thought it was a scientist who had some machinations of his own, who was, keeping his treacherous motives a secret by killing anybody who found out. But that's not what it was.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know. It just, yeah, it was weird. And then
it went extra sci-fi. Like it was sci-fi to begin with. Like you're killing your android, but then an android from another world creating androids that can kill. Yeah, it was a little too much of a hat on a hat, I think.
So it was intense. All right. Okay. Hold on one second here. The last one we got is the famous episode, season 1, episode 20, Little Hercules, featuring Leaf Phoenix. Now, are you familiar with the work of Leaf Phoenix?
A young Joaquin Phoenix, yes.
Yeah. We have a young Joaquin Phoenix. Now, I remember reading before he said he wanted an Earth name like his brother, and he chose Leaf, and he said it just never really caught on or anything for him, so he eventually...
Well, yeah, he is the younger brother of River Phoenix, who was, young Indiana Jones.
I feel like if
The Last Crusade.
Yeah, and I just feel like if I had to go for a very Earth-sounding name, and my brother is River, I think I'd go with Rain. Like Rain Phoenix just sounds cool, better than Leaf, but whatever.
Maybe they knew the name Leif Erikson and they liked it. I don't know.
But this episode, Clark and TJ visit a young high school genius named Billy Hercules, who has been offered a scholarship by Schuster University. Clark befriends the boy, with whom he can relate, as both are different and out of place. Yeah, it's a very odd synopsis for what this episode is. So basically we have the opening is Little Hercules, Billy Hercules here is imagining himself as Superman. So we see him in a super suit, flying, taking on these bullies. He's in love with an older high school girl. He makes a comment about other people from other schools have come and tried to interview him. And yeah. And then it becomes like war games where he like programs, he's a hacker, back when like people didn't really know what that was and you could do anything with computers. And he hacks into like the Navy's missiles and programs them to, it screws up and they're going to fire, and only Billy knows the code, but then it doesn't work at first. I mean, it just goes into a weird, different place.
Yeah. He's this boy genius, bullied in high school, in love with the girl there. Yeah. And then because the sub is going to be on the news, he programs in the poem for her. And that's crazy. Just so it's said on TV. But yeah, it messes things up, and it's gonna launch or blow up the missiles. Yeah, it was, and it's funny because this kid hacked into this military sub, and they're just like, "Oh, we saved the day," and he just walks away.
Yeah, it ends where he's like, "Do you think they'll congratulate me, or Will I be arrested? There'll be some consequences.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Like, if not juvenile detention, you're on probation and not allowed to touch a computer until like your 18th birthday. It's like a hacker scenario right there, you know?
Get recruited by the government and work for them.
Yeah,
He'll be one of those.
exactly.
He'll have all access because he's working for the government. But I mean, it's just one of those like, okay, cool. What's next? You know, it's like we just get left like, okay, did he go to college? Did he didn't go? Did he get the girl? Did she just say ew and run away? Like, what happened? Like, it just
Well,
stays
they were walking together, and at the end they were walking together. The last shot was him and her walking together, smiling and laughing. And all the jocks who were bullying him, who, by the way, he fed dog poop to.
Yeah, I mean that's such
Or-
an 80s, 90s thing to do. Just
he fed dog poop brownies to them, and they see him walking with her and ignoring them, and they just like hang their heads in sulk and disappointment, and that's when it cuts to credits and the theme song. So he didn't get any consequences. Not that we saw.
But that's good old little Hercules. The Hercules.
Mhm.
But yeah, nice seeing, Joaquin Phoenix in the DC world would later grow up to be Arthur Fleck.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
by the Joker.
We're going to turn to our app here and see what comics we got going on. Just for everybody here to know. Hold on, my thing's being weird. We are waiting to do Absolute Superman once we have the first arc. So probably the first 6 issues.
Yeah,
we'll
issue 3 just dropped on the app
so
a week or 2 ago.
James, did you finish reading Neo Before Zod? We had talked about checking that one out.
With the weather, I haven't been able to read crap.
Unfortunately,
I don't get snowed in because of the weather. I have to go out because of the weather.
That's true. So because of the timing on the app and everything, the only super title that we have as of this recording is Action. And
there's Action 1082. This week did come out a World's Finest. But I haven't gotten to that issue this week.
I feel like World's Finest is another, like, it's better to build up because you have so many characters. So yeah, just one book right now to cover. But we're back to more of the Action All-Stars. Compared to where we were getting these, we just got out of the Mark Waid huge run.
The weekly book.
Yeah, we're back to the monthly with Action. So
yeah, because right before they went weekly, they were doing like this this All Stars where it was like these older stories or these newer stories that connected to these older stories.
And this just says Superman Superstars. And it's about major disaster. And basically the super is called Force Maneuver Part 1. And we see Superman in downtown Metropolis stopping major disaster. And, he basically disaster surrenders himself, but people are talking about Superman looked like he was more angry, more on the upset and aggressive. And they talk back to when he fought the Flaming Skull and
talk about
Atomic Skull.
Well, yeah, it's some of the people who had they discuss some of the people like Major Disaster and Atomic Skull, Albert Michaels, who had kind of repented their ways as villains. and somehow, because not many villains do, but Superman had that effect over the years, and how they how and why they would turn back to the way that they did.
So, he goes and he visits Mighty Bruce, Scorch as Clark Kent, and he's interviewing them, trying to get the perspective about villains that turn themselves around. And then at the very end, he's walking in someone like in a hoodie. He's on the phone with Lois, and he's got his earpiece in, like an AirPod looking thing. And someone's got like a police's like nightstick, and hits Clark in the face, knocks him down, and he's a little bleeding at the end. There was some pink glow from the nightstick.
Yeah, there's a pinkish purplish glow, and they whack Clark in the side of the head. And yeah, he's bleeding from the side of the head and goes down. He's bleeding on the ground as they run away. So I don't know if that's magic or something else.
So we will find out. And yeah, that's our one comic for this month.
I
just because of the time of this recording.
Right. I mean, like, we've at least because we are reading on the app, when we get a chance, we've been talking about how we've been branching out and trying to read other books a little bit. Keep up on the all in, as it were. And I did get to read the Absolute Batman books, and
what are your thoughts on Absolute Batman?
I mean, a perspective, it actually is really good. It's interesting. I'm still really curious to see how things are going to shake out, because he ultimately, in one of the issues, goes to a poker game, and the people at the poker game is Harvey Dent, who's going to be Two-Face, which they make a Two-Face joke about. A friend of his who looks like the Joker. He's going to be the Joker. Nigma, the Riddler. And there was somebody else there, I forget. But yeah, he's hanging with these guys who are typically your Batman villains, and what they're doing there. It is really interesting talking. It is interesting. I feel the way that they went into this, this government deep state kind of thing that Black Mask is motive is working towards, destabilization, as it were, like economic destabilization and things like that. I was like, that's very what's the word, prescient in the world today. Interesting that it was written before everything, but I mean, so far I'm digging Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman, and Absolute Superman. So far I'm digging those. I read issue 1 of Aquaman.
I read issue 1 of Aquaman.
It's interesting how some of the powers, since the Absolute Power storyline, how all of the powers got taken. Some of them got like redistributed a different way. Now Aquaman has Mira's aquakinesis powers and stuff.
Yep. And I've been keeping up on all of them. I like Nightwing. I like what's been going on in Nightwing. I think that's been really good. I like.
I actually, the number of downloads is growing right now in my thing, because I want to read these books and these issues, and I haven't had the time because of the timing.
Yeah, I've been trying to keep up on most of the titles. Detective, Batman and Robin have been good. Is it Batman and Robin that Philip Kennedy Johnson's writing? I think. So
Yeah, I've read Batman. I've read Detective. Keeping up on Superman in action.
well, yeah, of course.
Um,
Wonder Woman's been cool, but Wonder Woman hasn't really changed much for the All In initiative compared to what.
it's continuing off of through with Tom King's stuff.
I did
Like-
read just the one am a little interested in is I just read the Green Lantern Fractured, whatever it is.
Oh yeah, that
Is
just
the-
came out this week. Fractured Spectrum.
Yeah, and I started reading that. And it's neat because it has all the lanterns in it. So I recommend it's because I was wanting to do some lantern reading. So
Right.
I recommend anybody get a chance to check that out.
Yeah, I've got that downloaded, and I've got the New Gods 2 downloaded that I want to check out here. I read issue 1, done by Ram V, written by Ram V.
Yeah.
Yeah, so issue 1 was pretty interesting. So
But I'm liking the All In. I'm staying into it. Like it's just a nice initiative to get caught up and be part of things. So
yeah,
that's
it's
all.
just a rough time of year for me. That's all that is.
Yeah, the sickness and the weather and everything. And but yeah. All right, everybody. Let us know your thoughts on what you're reading. And remember,
Look up in the sky!
thank you for checking out the Krypton Report. Please click our link tree in the show notes to follow us on your favorite social media platform. We have a $1 Patreon, just $1 a month to keep us going. And in return, you get exclusive shows and specials. If you want to join us on an episode, send us an email or a message.
I am Brian Peters, the creator and host of Gravely Amusing. For the past 30 years, I've studied the history of gods and monsters in pop culture and our world. As a student of theology and history, I've tried to understand evil and its impact on us. As a writer, I've tried to share this knowledge. As a comedian, I've tried to make people laugh as I do it. But as a man-child, I'm still that scared 7-year-old boy. Join me as I share the history of horror and sci-fi, discuss classic and modern pop culture, and share a creepy story or two. This podcast may scare you, it may horrify you, or it may leave you gravely amused. Listen to Gravely Amusing on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever podcasts are found. Follow us on Twitter at gravely_amusing or on TikTok at gravely amusing.
Look up in the sky.